Okay, let me begin by welcoming you all. If there are any learners, I welcome you all to the second live session on this course, Design and Implementation of Human-Computer Interfaces. So in this course, we will be having 3 live sessions. This is going to be the second one. So there will be one more live session after this. Now, during this live session, what we are going to do is basically we'll be discussing issues. If you have faced any issues during the course, if there are some topics that created some issues, or if you have any doubts related to any concept, we can discuss all those things here. Please note that in this live session, we are not going to have any live lecture. So I'm not going to deliver any lecture here. So please don't wait for any lecture from my side. I will be waiting for you to come up and pose queries if you have any. So with that, let me just request you all again to come forward and post your queries as soon as possible. Okay, so Saurabh Biswas asked one question. Are there any standard tests available for spatial awareness and reasoning for HCI studies? So here I would like to request you to confine yourself to the topics covered in the course. So otherwise, unnecessarily that will create confusion among other learners. So please ask questions related to the topics covered in the course only. Okay. So although this is again outside the course, but this next question I can answer because that will help you going through the latest research. The question is about what are some good and free Scopus index journals in the field of human-computer interaction. Well, free or not, I cannot say because generally there are open access journals which are not necessarily Scopus indexed, but they are free. Whereas most of the good journals are not free as of now. Maybe in future they will become free. So the best, one of the most reputed journal in this field is called HCI. The journal name itself is HCI, or Human Computer Interaction. Then we have SEM transaction on human computer interaction, computer human interaction, or SEM Tokai. Then we have International Journal of Human Computer Interaction, IJHCI, International Journal of Human Computer Studies, IJHCS. So these journals are generally considered to be good. There are, of course, many more, but I am just telling you a few selected reputed journal names. More on behavioral studies can be found in Behavior and Information Technology, PIT. That is another good journal. And none of these, as per my knowledge, none of these are free as of now. We also have IEEE transaction on human machine systems. These are few good journal names. If you want to learn about the latest research in this field, broad research topics are published here. And now there are also specialized journals and conferences related to specific topics. Say, for example, on virtual reality, you have specialized journals. On mobile computing, you have specialized conference proceedings. So these are specialized domain areas where specific topics are dealt with. How do different communication metaphors shape the relations in a design team? I'm afraid I will not be able to answer this question, as my focus is primarily on engineering a computing system rather than focusing on design. I am not qualified enough to talk about these issues. Okay, next question is there a graphical user interface which adapts according to eye pupil diameter? Eye pupil diameter. Okay. There may be, of course. I am not aware of any specific application where eye pupil diameter is used to adapt interface, but there is a whole body of research available on eye tracking related applications. So there is a dedicated conference also, eye tracking research and applications, ETRA. Now, if you go through the proceedings of this conference, you may come across such an application where this type of adaptation is there. Based on eye gauge, new interaction techniques and applications are already there. Now, these applications also include adaptive interfaces, as far as I know, but I cannot talk about any specific application. I'm not aware of any such application. But if you, I would like to suggest that you go through the proceedings of ETRA, Eye Tracking Research and Application Conference, where you are more likely to come across many such applications. It takes place every year. Okay, I think I have answered few of the questions asked by Saurabh. So I would like to request other learners, if anybody is there, to post your queries. Okay, another question from Saurabh. Are there experiments designed using two users simultaneously? What do you mean by this? It's not very clear. Two users simultaneously? What are some of the challenges that can be encountered while applying ubiquitous conflict into classroom environments? Now, these are very broad questions. I'd like to, first of all, none of these are related to the course. Second is these are more into a hypothetical situation and also not very clear uh, from the wordings. Say, for example, the first question, any experiment design using two users simultaneously. This is actually not very clear what you want to ask. We can design an experiment and perform the experiment on two users simultaneously. There is nothing to stop us from doing that. So if that is what you meant by this, then of course it is possible. But if you have some other meaning assigned to the statement, then please make it clear. Second thing is, second question is, what are some of the challenges that can be encountered while applying ubiquitous computing to classroom environment? Now, this is a very broad question. Uh, Classroom environment, we can use ubiquitous computing in a variety of ways in classroom environment, depending on what is the underlying infrastructure you are assuming. Different challenges will be there. So unless you specify some infrastructure that you are planning to have while implementing ubiquitous computing in classroom environment, it will be difficult to answer this question. How can HCI become an accepted part of learning for late adopters such as senior citizens? Now, these are two things. See, the term HCI is used to refer to human-computer interaction. Learning is a altogether different thing. Now, when you want to adopt computers in learning, and that too for senior citizens, there are plenty of works focusing on making learning applications suitable for senior citizens. So there are already works going on, and there are already practices that are followed if the learning involves use of computers. But it is not mandatory that we always use computers for learning. There may be different learning methodology adopted. But when computers are used to impart learning to senior citizens, of course, HCI is an important issue, and HCI is applied in many applications, many learning applications for senior citizens. Not only senior citizens, HCI principles are used to design learning methodologies and learning applications for children, for different adult illiterates, uh, early literates, physically impaired. So for different category of users, different solutions are developed. What are the most user evaluation metrics for gesture-based interactions? There is no such thing as most user evaluation metrics. Most used evaluation metrics. I mean, depending on the context, different metrics are used. Well, it is good to see that you have interest in uh, on many issues, and this is a very diverse field. So, and it is quite legitimate that you are asking questions from different domains. But what I suggest is that you restrict yourself to the topics covered in this course. Otherwise, uh, I don't know whether we'll be able to do justice to your queries, because all these questions require separate knowledge, separate understanding than the ones specifically discussed in this course. So it will be better if you uh, restrict your queries related to the topics covered in this course. That does not mean that your questions are poorly formed or bad. I'm just saying that these are very legitimate questions that you are asking, but please try to restrict yourself to questions that are relevant for this course. Okay, so I think not many learners are there, and there are not much doubts to be discussed here. So I would like to again request all the learners to please come forward and post your queries if you have any related to the course specifically. Maybe I will wait for another 2 to 3 minutes. During that period, if no further queries come, then I will assume that you are not having any more doubts. So in that case, we will close the session. So please come forward, post your queries if you have any, which are mostly relevant to the course. So far, I have addressed a few queries, although those are very good queries, but those are not directly related to the course. So I would like to request all the learners watching this live session or join this live session to post queries related to the course. Okay, I think there are no further queries. So I take this as indicative of the learners not having any further doubts. In that case, we can go for closing the session. So I would like to thank you all for coming to the live session. You have posted a few queries. I tried to answer them to the best of my ability, but most of them were outside the topics that were covered in the course. So I did not go into the detailed answer for those queries that were posted. Because I felt that those may create some confusion among other learners. In any case, we will be having one more live session for this course. If you have queries, you can join that live session and we can discuss your doubts and queries. So with that, I would like to end this live session. Thank you all and looking forward to meet you all again in the next live session. Thank you and goodbye.